Thank you, Maureen, for the introduction. You know, there's no direct flight from Singapore to Luxembourg. So my wife and I transited through Amsterdam. So we entered Schengen in Amsterdam. And I think we were in the wrong queue because there were a number of Africans in front of us. And the immigration officer gave special attention to the passports. And for the first time, I saw an immigration officer with a jeweler's eyeglass, to scrutinize it. It took forever. But luckily, a separate queue was open. So when it came to my turn, the immigration officer asked, "Oh, where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Luxembourg." "And for what purpose?" I said, "Well, to give a lecture." "You're a professor." "I'm not a professor," but I said, "Yes," just to keep the answer simple. Then they asked, "Oh, what are you lecturing?" I said, "Geopolitics." And they said, "Yeah, I would like to listen to your lecture." That surprised me. The immigration officer in Amsterdam wanted to listen to a lecture on geopolitics. So I kind of mulled over this. You see, we are now in the period of world history where everyone is a little afraid. What's going to happen next? When you wake up in the morning, Israel has bombed Qatar, something may happen in Ukraine, something may happen somewhere else. The US may invade Venezuela, who knows? And in every boardroom, geopolitics has become the single most important risk factor. How do we make sense of the world today? It will be a multipolar world. Of that, we can be sure. And perhaps nothing more symbolically important than the recent summits in China, where you had Xi Jinping, Putin, and Modi holding hands. And in Beijing, where Xi Jinping marched out with Putin on one side and Kim Jong-un on the other. And further on, Tokayev and Prabowo. They were hoping that India would be on their side against China. But I remember meeting Jaishankar, the foreign minister in Abu Dhabi. I asked him, "Will India buy the S-400? I said, "The US will sanction you." He said, "Who buy the S-400? And if they want, let them sanction us." I had no doubts that India will calculate in its own self-interest. Some of you might have read the famous Chinese science fiction, The Three-Body Problem. That if there are three suns circulating around each other, the mathematics is almost impossible to solve. And if you're a planet in that system, your days and nights are completely unpredictable. And that is at the heart of the science fiction. In a multipolar world, there will be many suns or big planets circulating one against the other. So the dynamics will be complicated. And I think that's the reason why the immigration officer in Amsterdam wanted to listen to a lecture on geopolitics, because instinctively people feel the world is out of joint. And they're not quite sure how to react. Where do I live? Where do I go to school? How do I diversify my assets? What languages do I want my children to study? In Europe, after the war, the Benelux countries played a major role. If we look into the future, maybe the smaller countries, in their discomfort with the current equilibrium and wanting to find pathways for themselves, in them we may find ideas for the future.